Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Hardcore. Now over the past few weeks we've been doing a lot of work expanding our village and it is looking absolutely gorgeous. We've got the beautiful castle, the magnificent cathedral, and the village itself isn't looking too shabby either. In addition to that, in the last episode we built ourselves a farm along with two mighty windmills to grind the grain into flour to bake bread to feed the hungry villagers. But while we've spent a lot of time taking care of the village, we haven't spent much time taking care of ourselves. And that is important as well, which is why in this episode we are going to upgrade the shiny baubles we wear on our head and feet, and we are going to get some netherite gear. Now I already have a little bit of netherite gear, but it is time to convert it all, which means all of our armor, all of our tools, and all of our secondary tools as well. But first things first, we will need some ancient debris, and that of course means I have to go back to the place that I detest. I have to go back to the Nether. And now that I'm here, I have to find a place suitable for mining because so far I haven't had much luck with that. There is lava everywhere and I'm starting to think that this Nether spawn is just absolutely terrible. But down into the depths we go, and if you're wondering why we are watching all of this in a third-person cinematic view, it's simple. I paused my OBS while I was taking a break, and I never unpaused it, which means the only footage I have of this entire expedition is all from my replay mod. And now that that's been cleared up, we can mine ourselves down to Y level 15, where we shall be using 3 stacks of TNT to blow the Nether to pieces and find some of that sweet ancient debris. And if you don't know how mining for ancient debris works, it's quite simple. You go down to Y level 15 in the Nether, you mine yourself a massively long tunnel, pack it full of TNT, set it off, and watch the magic happen. So first things first, we are mining our tunnel, we are packing it with TNT, and we have 3 stacks of the stuff, so that should give us plenty of boom. And once this is done, we'll set it off and hope it uncovers tons and tons of ancient debris. So first things first, let's ignite the fury and watch the flames do its work. And so far the lava situation doesn't seem too bad. As long as it's not pouring from the ceiling, I am quite happy. And I think I spot our first piece of ancient debris. Now we just need a ton more. And we can collect our spoils. We've got a few pieces sitting right here. There's a few more down the tunnel. And hopefully, once we're done with our 3 stacks of TNT, we'll have enough to convert all of our armor, all of our gear, into netherite versions. But first things first, we need to collect what we have. And so far, we have got 3 pieces. Of course, that doesn't even make 1 netherite ingot. So we're going to have to go bigger. We have to do some more mining. And that of course means blowing the entire underside of the Nether to absolute smithereens. And we're digging tunnels, we are placing TNT, we are blowing giant holes in the bowels of this foul place and reaping some rich rewards. But with all of our TNT spent, we have managed to gather 28 pieces of ancient debris, and that will give us 7 netherite ingots. And it seems that something has been messing with our minecarts in our smelter. I think it might have been an enderman, but let's pop these bad boys in here. Let's smelt them down into netherite scraps, and then we can make some ingots. Of course, we've still got 3 netherite scraps in our ender chest. We didn't manage to find a 4th, so those will stay there for now. And while we were in the Nether, we gathered up all of the gold nuggets we could possibly lay our hands on because we are out of gold. We have spent it all making golden apples to cure zombie villagers and get some awesome deals. But we have got over a stack of gold ingots right here. That should be more than enough to make our netherite ingots and also leave us with plenty to spare. And now that we have our gold, we can go collect our netherite scraps and make some ingots. There we go, 28 netherite scraps. We've got some more gold in the smelter as well. And all of this should give us 7 shiny netherite ingots, which means we can convert 7 pieces of armor or tools into netherite. So let's grab that crafting bench, look up some netherite, and there we go, 7 pieces of netherite. And by sheer coincidence, we have 7 netherite upgrade smithing templates as well, although I think we probably need to make a few more of those. I don't want to use my last one because I don't want to go to another bastion to find a new one. And we have our netherite, we have our smithing templates, and it's time to get some netherite gear. We're going to start off with our boots. We've upgraded all of our gear as much as we possibly can at the moment, which means this should be some pretty decent stuff. Next is our helmet. There we go. And then our chest plate, of course. And with that done, we are absolutely covered in debris. We can also do some of our tools. Let's do the hoe as well, because that requires some serious dedication. There we go. And with that, we've got almost everything converted to netherite, but I want to check out my shiny new netherite armor. Let's get that on there and let's have a look and see what that looks like. And yes, Fungusaurus is looking battle ready indeed, and this should go a long way towards keeping us alive just a little bit longer. We've got the sword, we've got the pickaxe. But now it's time to do some work, and I've been looking around thinking about which area of these lands I want to expand next, and also what am I going to build. Now there are plenty of options. We can go over to that side, but there's a big lake in the way. Behind the village there's a jungle and some mountains, but over here we have some prime real estate, and I've been looking at the terrain and it seems to me that there is a river begging to flow through here. It could start over here with a little bit of a lake and then wind its way around these outcroppings and finally into the big lake at the bottom. And I think that would be absolutely spectacular. In addition to that, I've got a few ideas of what to do with the area in between. And then for our big build, I've got an idea on how to incorporate the river. But first, we need to prepare the land. And I've had to put the work on hold for 2 reasons. Firstly, these unscrupulous scallywags have appeared out of nowhere and decided to attack me. So while I'm waiting for them to kill their own leader, I will tell you about the next problem I'm facing. As you can see, I have reached rock bottom. And by saying that, I mean I have reached a rock bottom, which is going to take forever to dig up, which makes me think I need to go and fetch my beacon. At the moment, it's sitting at the bottom of the world, doing absolutely nothing productive. So once I've taken care of these guys, just one more remaining, I can go and fetch my beacon, which will make digging out all of this rock a lot easier. And so down into the depths we plunge to go fetch our shining beacon, and of course, its base. And it's powering down, which means we are almost done collecting all of the blocks, and all we have to do is collect the beacon itself. And with all the blocks collected, we can move it up topside to where it will actually do a bit of good. But I wonder, am I able to fly up straight through this hole to the surface as a shortcut? Let's see. Here we go. Oh, no. Okay. That might have been a little bit stupid. That could easily have killed me. And I think I need to start making some much wiser decisions if I am to survive. But survive I did, and it's time to build the base for our beacon. We've got all of our blocks, and we need to start off with a 9x9 first layer. And now we power up the beacon. Let's just pop some iron in there, get some haste going, some haste too, and this should make our work go a lot faster. So with that all done, let's get back to it. And our area preparation is complete. We've got the river all dug out from the big lake at the bottom to the little lake at the top. We've added some sandy riverbeds, some bridges, and of course, we've added some roads. Which means it is time to start building. And I've got 3 separate builds planned for today. 2 little ones and then a bigger one. And the first one involves our beautiful farmhouse. And I took a poll among the farm workers. I promise you there are farm workers somewhere. And not all of them wishes to live in a big communal farmhouse, which brings us down to this area over here, where we are going to build 2 smaller farmhouses for those who crave their independence. And our 2 smaller farmhouses are done, complete with a pig pen, a few food patches, and it is looking absolutely beautiful. Which brings us to our next build, and that's going to happen where our beacon happens to be sitting right now, which means we need to take it down and then add another piece of this land's long forgotten history. That's right, we are building a ruin right on top of that hill. The remnants of an ancient mansion that might have belonged to a long forgotten duke, earl, or some other form of nobility. So let's get busy and let's add a little bit of history. And to be honest, I only added this ruin because while I was planning, this hill looked very empty. And I'm very glad I did, because it is looking amazing. But now it's time to get to today's main event. And it's going to involve all of this land around me and all of the land going right down to the big lake at the bottom, because we are building a sawmill. But first things first, if we fly over this area, you might notice that we are missing something of vital importance to a sawmill, and that is of course some trees. This area is looking very barren, and once we're done planting a few saplings, we'll get straight into it and build our sawmill. And the main structure of our sawmill is complete, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. As you can see, we've built a giant water wheel which is going to be powered by the river coming down from the lake at the top, flowing through here, driving the gears which moves the blade to saw the logs. And as you can see, we actually have a log on the tracks ready to be sawn in half. We've also got the building where we've got a little office at the bottom, and at the top we have a room which I've not quite decided what to do with yet, but I'll figure it out in just a little bit. All in all, our sawmill is looking amazing, but I think perhaps it could do with a little detail. And detail we have. It is looking spectacular. As you can see right here at the top, we've got some prime logs for a very discerning customer ready to be processed. And over here, we have added just a little bit more detail, some lanterns, some barrels, and the whole operation is looking brilliant. Down here, we've got some planks that have already been processed and is ready to be taken to the market. We've got some cherry, some dark oak, and some spruce. And we have an interior. Just look at that. And this is of course the foreman's office, and there's all his records. up top, we have also done some work. It is the foreman's bedroom, and he lives here as well as works here. He's a very dedicated man. He also keeps a few prize saplings up in his bedroom and just 1 or 2 more at the bottom. And the sawmill is pretty much complete. And if we take a quick stroll to the lands outside, you will see that the forest is starting to come in. And now all we need to do is add some water to our river to drive our massive water wheel over here and get the sawmill working. But we'll get to that in just a minute. We also have a massive lumber yard over here filled with all the logs you could possibly want. We've got some acacia, some dark oak, some birch, and we've got a little bridge which spans over the river, and we're going to quickly complete this bridge. So first things first, let's get some slabs down there, and then we'll decorate it even further with a little bit of chiseled stone, and this is starting to look magnificent. Next up, let's grab some stone walls and put those on both sides, and then finally we'll finish it off with some spruce fence gates. And the mechanics of spruce fence gates connecting to stone walls gives us a beautiful little curve all the way through. So there we go, our bridge is complete. But before we finish this build, there's something I need to do first. And that is to fulfill the promise I made at the beginning of this episode, to get full netherite gear. Because right now I still have an axe and a pickaxe which is still diamond, and that means I need to go back to the nether for more ancient debris. And here we go, this is the last of my TNT, and hopefully this run will give me all of the ancient debris that I need. If it doesn't, I will need to go do some AFKing above my creeper farm, but hopefully that won't be necessary. So let's grab our flint and steel, let's light this sucker up and run for our lives! And off goes the TNT. Let's see if we have hit pay dirt. Give a second to calm down, and let's go see what's what. And straight away, we have some ancient debris right over here. And it seems that we have hit a pretty good vein. And we've got some up there in the roof, as well as some more down here. And this is really turning out to be a very fruitful expedition. And finally, we have enough ancient debris, we can return home and leave this horrible place behind as we upgrade literally all of our gear to netherite from diamond. So here we are back home, and let's go visit the boys. And while I'm here, I'm going to add some armor trim to all of my netherite armor. I've been putting it off because I don't think it transfers from diamond armor to netherite, and I didn't want to waste my smithing templates. But we're getting some awesome results, and I think I like what I'm seeing. I'll go with this one. It looks simple, and it sort of matches the armor trim I already have on my netherite leggings. And there we go. All of our armor has some trim on it, and I want to see what we look like. And the results are amazing. Just look at that. Have you ever seen anything so majestic? Full netherite armor, full netherite tools. And at this stage I had to come back because only during editing did I notice that once again I missed my axe. So here we go. We've got netherite, we've got a smithing template, and we have our last piece of diamond gear. There we go. It is done, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, all of my diamond gear has been upgraded. And I really do love the look of this armor trim. I also love the look of our new build. And we'll start off with the little farmhouses. Just look at that. Some happy pigs, a little garden for some food, and of course a second house for some more villagers that can live here away from the noisy main house. Moving further along, we have a beautiful bridge over the river which has now been filled, and just look at that sparkling water. If we go down to the big lake at the bottom, you will see it cascades down a majestic waterfall into the big lake. Of course, we also have our lumber yard where we have many logs waiting to be processed by our sawmill. We have some dark oak, we have some birch, some spruce, and of course some regular oak and acacia, and it's all set against the backdrop of the beautiful ruins on top of the hill. Then of course we have the sawmill itself and its giant wheel driven by the power of the river. Just look at that. And up top we have the rails. We have the saw blade sawing the logs in half. We have a few logs here yet to be processed, and everything is looking absolutely fantastic. We've got some planks down here that have already been processed, waiting to be taken to the market and sold for timber. And then as we move across the river over the bridge over here, we have our forest and the main source of all of this wood. And you can see some logs that have been cut down, some trees that are yet to be processed, and over here we have a cart absolutely packed to the brim with some logs waiting to be taken to the lumber yard. And if we move over here, you can see there's an oak tree that has been cut down, still not processed yet, and back here we have a freshly cut spruce tree just waiting to be turned into a big log. We also have a few logs sitting right over here that needs to be loaded onto the cart and taken to the lumber yard. And if we move up the hill, you will see a little campfire with a big chunk of tasty meat roasting over the open flame where the workers can come sit, enjoy a little bit of warmth, and enjoy a little bit of lunch. And finally, we are surrounded by millions and millions of trees. Okay, perhaps not millions, but quite a few trees. But that, ladies and gents, is unfortunately all we have time for today. I really do hope you enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you did, and if you want to see some more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But this is Fungusaurus Rex saying, until next time, beautiful people, stay awesome. Bye-bye.